welcome back to our life. We are still in step 1 and it's going to take us a long time to get through all of that. So we're going moment by moment. And just to catch you guys up on something that happened off camera, we now have the DLCs. However, we're not covering the DLCs in this episode. We are going to be covering up something completely different. So, sorry to disappoint. I want to get through the non-DLC moments first, and then we're going to go and cover all the DLC ones that I've got for Step 1. And now I'll have them for Step 2 and Step 3. Step 3 also. I think Step 3 does. Yes, let's get into it. Alright, tonight we're going to catch Fireflies. At this blunt declaration from your sister, you looked up from your macaroni and cheese dinner. Fireflies were a familiar sight over summer, coming out on warm nights to dance through the sky. Tonight was particularly balmy. You knew there were bound to be a ton of them around. Oh, you are you? You looked over at your moms. They hadn't answered for sure yet, but if that's what Lizzie said you'd do, that's probably what you'd end up doing. Lizzie was an expert again her way, having mastered the art of it by the time she could talk. That's a good idea, Lizzie. Can we, Miss Wolf? Shiloh tapped his fork against the table excitedly, his face lighting up as he looked at Lizzie. It was unusual for Shiloh to still be here. Like always, his mom had to bring him over really early in the morning before her job started, but normally she would have picked him up by now. She called before dinner to let your moms know she would be late. You didn't hear why. Probably more work things. You thought maybe getting to hang out with Shiloh for longer is what made Lizzie want to keep running around outside. Staying at home and watching TV was never an option with her. For her with guests over. That's why you were pretty sure she'd get your moms to agree. Well, it's already so dark out there. Lizzie gave Mom the best puppy dog eyes she could, slowly spooning mac and cheese into her mouth while you waited there for their response. Let them go. Nights like this don't happen every day. Your parents exchanged a look. Then Mom eventually sighed and nodded back. Yes! Fine. Just make sure you stay on the hill behind our house. With all the poppies, okay? Duh, Mom. That's where most of them are. The idea had only just been planted in your head, but you could already picture all the glowing lights spread out in front of you. Like the fairies from the bedtime stories Mommy read sometimes. Lizzie and Shiloh started digging into their food, and it soon became a race to see who could finish their dinner first.
Isn't that great?
Aren't you excited to go outside and play, Callie? You gave a non-committal shrug. Callie is just mad because I always catch the most, Lizzie boasted proudly, her mouth full of food, and Mom gave her a stern look. Elizabeth! A knock on the door interrupted Mom before she could no doubt scold your sister. I'll get it! Your big sister jumped out of her seat and ran to the door, pulling it open without looking out the window to see who it was. Huh? You shifted in your seat to try and get a glimpse of the unexpected guest.
Hi.
Cove! Good evening, Cove. You look so sad to be here. Your mommy had already walked to the door by the time you managed to get to see past Shiloh's fluffy hat. Oh, Cove! Hi! You're here! Cove smiled at your enthusiastic greeting, and you hoped Mommy would ask him to stay. It didn't matter why he was there. It meant he could join you all in catching fireflies. Then for a few seconds, Cove said nothing. He only stood there looking up at your mommy with a face almost like he was considering turning around and leaving. My dad told me to drop this off because I guess he borrowed it from you. Cove took a familiar screwdriver from his large side pocket. Eyes now dropped to the floor. We left ours back home when we moved. Great, thanks, bye! Thank you. Hey, why don't you come inside for a bit? Lizzie crossed her arms and lifted her chin. Cove shrugged, and Mom stood up from the table too. I'll give your dad a call to let him know that you got here alright. Cove shuffled fully inside, eyes remaining on the ground. Mommy closed the door behind him. Hi, Cove! Shiloh gave Cove a friendly smile while waving by holding up his hand and opening and closing his fingers. Cove nodded in response. Cove, are you going to catch fireflies with us? You could see Lizzie eyeing you for mentioning the excursion to an outsider. Did you get over it? You hoped Cove would say yes. That way you wouldn't be the odd one out with Lizzie and Shiloh anymore.
Yeah.
I can do that. I've never caught one before. It's too bad he didn't have a chance before now. The fireflies went out when he first moved in, and there must not have been any where he used to live. You can't go until after dinner. After she pointed this out, Lizzie walked back to the table and took her seat. There wasn't much left on her plate. Since this was very true, you decided to finish up your own stuff as well. Cove stepped closer and eyed what was on the menu for your family's meal. Have you eaten yet? Yeah, my dad and I ate earlier. What did you have? Eggs. That is like the worst meal to have for a dinner. The clipped one-word answer seemed to discourage Shiloh from asking any more questions. His eyes slowly wandered to the last scraps of food on his plate. Her phone call with Cove's dad must have ended because your mom came back into the room.
Okay.
Cove, your dad said you can stay for a little while if you'd like, but he's going to come get you before it gets too much later. Sure.
Fun.
Oh, fun! This will be so nice. As you polished off your meal, you'd hope it would be too. The three of you all finished eating shortly after. Lizzie led the way outside. Remember, don't stray too far. She looked so worried. And Mommy was just like, oh, they'll be fine. We can trust them. They won't do a runner. I love it. It's fine, Mom. Shiloh trailed so closely after Lizzie, he was nearly stepping on her heels. Cove hesitated at the door. Coming? After a moment, he did.
Bye.
Bye, children. Wonder what they're gonna get up to while we're away. The two of you were a good 10 or 15 feet behind Lizzie and Shiloh. By the time you walked outside, you pushed the door shut behind you, watching their figures get farther and farther away. You're so slow, Callie! We don't have all night! You started running when you heard Lizzie's voice calling you, but paused when you saw Cove still walking at a relaxed pace. You walked with him. You fell behind Sidling? That spells Sidling. Next to him, matching his stride. You noticed right away.
It's okay.
You can go ahead if you want. You smiled and shook your head. I don't. After a short while, the two of you reached the hill behind the house. The fireflies were out in full force, floating on in the breeze, their gentle glow winking in and out, creating an almost magical effect. Lizzie had already climbed to the top. Shiloh was spinning in circles somewhere around the middle. Wow. Shiloh took a moment to come over and welcome you both to the hill. That laugh Shiloh made sounds like an evil Furby trying to be cute. Hi guys, it's really great outside. Really great out, huh? See how many there are? Yeah. My dyslexic brain keeps adding and subtracting letters and words. It is a nightmare. Or just skipping the word entirely. I love it. A firefly danced through the air, landing on Cove's sea green head. Oh my god. Got a notification from Twitch. You and Shiloh couldn't help but giggle. Covering your mouth with a hand, the sound escaped you, and Cove looked at you in confusion. Huh? He gestured to his head, and he reached up, making the firefly dart away. Cove jumped, then followed after the glow. Oh, look, Lizzie has one! That's amazing! Shiloh ran to the highest point of the hill, making sure to not lose his hat, or backpack along the way. You hummed as the group divided and conquered. Shifting your gaze to dozens of other fireflies sailing around, the game was on. Ooh. So we can either have bandages, or be like, heh, I'm great at this. I mean, if I do a second playthrough, I might go in the bandage route, and then decide. You were good at not getting cuts or scratches, so you weren't worried about that. Found one close by, you approached it, with an assassin-like stealth, crouching down to make yourself seem less of a threat. Slowly dragging one foot in front of the other, you crept towards it, arms outstretched. You closed your hands around the glowing little orb, careful not to crush it. The firefly landed on your palm, almost docile, and you stared down at your prize in delight. Its tiny legs tickled your skin, and you giggled at the sensation. Cove crept up with his own target, but when he tried to grab it, his pink cast waved awkwardly through the air, foiling his efforts to wrap his hands around the firefly. Cove watched it vanish into thin air with a dissatisfied expression on his face. You encouraged him to try again. You get the next one! Did you catch one? You nodded, and Cove gave up his hunt for a moment, coming closer, peering at the insect still crawling across your palm. You held out your hand, and he leaned closer, eyes widening a tad behind his glasses. Cove remained hypnotized by the little bug as he inched his hand closer to yours. Ultimately, he settled his fingers lightly over the top of your ones. You were holding open, tangled. You stayed very still. The last thing you wanted was to accidentally scare off this shiny treasure off. Oh. I think this is our hand, because we said the crystal. You've got tan skin, and you've got Cove's slender fingers. Oh my god, I love this drawing! That is so cute! The firefly, noticing the new connection, crawled up onto Cove's hand. Quietly gasped. It worked! Yeah, you got one! Cove's lips turned up into a slow smile. His eyes shined brighter than the bug. That is so cute. I love it. Thanks, Callie. With a laugh, he gave the palm of your hand a friendly smack, forming an awkward look by. Startled by the extreme movement, the tiny light disappeared before you could even blink. Your firefly was gone. Oops. Sorry. You forgave him. It's okay. I can't keep it forever.
You're right.
Right. Folks have to stay outside. Let's get another one. We can work together. His face broke out into a wide grin. Oh my god, look at that smile! I love this. We'll get a bunch! With renewed vigor, you ran out onto the hill. You're not sure how much time passed while you were in the thick of it. All you could focus on was the adventure at hand. No critter was safe from your grasp. At first, you tried to keep the tally of how many you caught. But once the number grew higher than 10, you had no more fingers to count with. You were having the time of your life racing up and down the hill, the crash of the ocean, and the sound of everyone's laughter echoing in the background. Callie, this way! You follow the sound of Cove's voice to the top of the hill, watching as he stretched his arms in front of him, reaching with his fingers and only narrowly missing his target. Cove and you took turns trying to scare Fireflies in the direction of the other. You showed him some techniques you had learned, like how to cup your hands correctly, and he listened attentively before trying for himself. There are a few times when you almost ran into each other, giggling as you dove to the side at the last moment. Luckily, disaster was avoided each time. It was an overall huge success with the both of you catching multiple fireflies each. Eventually, the fireflies began to thin out, and your energy started to lapse. You decided it was time to call off the hunt. Cove didn't complain. He breathed in heavily, his face seemed really flushed. That was a lot of fun. I just combined both sentences. You know, that's fine. You guys know what I'm on about. You got the subtitle right there? You smiled at him, broadly happy that he had enjoyed the activity. Yeah, it was. Callie, Cove, get up here. We're going to have a race. The shouting caught you off guard. It had been a while since you heard from Lizzie or Shiloh. You glanced over to see them both standing at the top of the hill again. Lizzie beckoning to you with a quick hand gestures. If she was like that, you knew there wasn't much room for disagreement. Up the incline you went. From the corner of your eye, you saw Cove coming as well. He didn't care for Lizzie a lot, so you thought he might be intrigued by the idea of the race. Hi! Hi! Cove, you can't roll down the hill. You could hurt your arm again. You'll be the referee for the rest of us. As Lizzie pointed this out, Cove froze in place. Oh. It was that kind of race. He frowned at his cast. That was the second time it got in the way tonight. He probably could. Arms outstretched. They might hurt a little, but he's not broken, I don't think. He's never told us yet. I don't think. Actually, casts go on a broken arm, don't they? Maybe it was broken. It might not be broken now. I don't know. What? I mean, why not just run down the hill? Why does it have to be rolling? Yeah, you'll watch and see who gets to the bottom first. That's important, got it? I guess. The cast was sturdy. If he was careful, he could have done it. But Lizzie might have just been looking for a reason to make someone else the referee. But it was already decided. I'll stay with Cove.
Really?
Really? Why? You don't have to. It's okay. I don't want to watch. You moved beside him on the hill, even though Lizzie eyed you and made a face. That's not how races work. You only need one referee. Shrugging your shoulders, you refused to budge, and Lizzie let out a huff before throwing her hands in the air. Fine, I'll be the winner whether you join or not. Don't worry, we'll race next time. Lizzie moved to lay down, and Shiloh did the same. Cove stood slightly to the side to get their vantage point, and you stood next to him. Count down. Post stood up a little straighter. It seemed like he was taking his new-found referee duties seriously. 3, 2, 1, go! Lizzie and Shiloh took off, letting gravity do the work, and rolling at a high speed towards the bottom of the hill. That man's smug. You and Cove leaned forward to watch them go, eyes peeled for which one the two would reach the bottom first. They were both neck and neck until about halfway down the hill. Lizzie started to veer off to the side, giving Shiloh a huge advantage. She obviously hadn't noticed a thing, and as soon as Shiloh reached the bottom of the hill, he jumped up excitedly and threw his hands in the air. I won! Almost immediately he fell back onto the grass, still dizzy from his roll down the hill. Lizzie stomped out the bush. Lizzie stomped out the bush she ended up in, sputtering angrily and brushing the leaves off from the front of her dress. Not bad. You got lucky. Let's do it again, see who wins for real. Kids, it's time to come in. No! You snickered, grateful you hadn't been part of the mini debacle. You caught Cove's eyes and saw that he was doing the same. It had gone late, and was beginning to feel a bit chilly as you made your way out of the hills, but the cold air hadn't dampened anyone's spirits. Maybe a bit of Lizzie's from losing. Like a sore loser. The four of you walked back home together, side by side, in your neighborhood street, discussing the evening, with each person trying to prove that they were the one who caught the most fireflies. You knew that whoever really did catch the most didn't matter much anyway. All that mattered that you had a good time, which, judging by the smiles on everyone's faces, you did. And that was Fireflies. Thanks for joining me on this little experience. And stay tuned for what we do next. And definitely stay tuned for when we do the DLCs, because I am doing Sleepover last, no matter what. We are ending summer with the Sleepover, that is confirmed, from here on out. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.